Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rene Davila and I am doing this series of tango lessons here in YouTube. I'm not a podcaster. This is my first experience doing this, so I hope you bear with me doing this interesting but challenging lessons. I want to start, as usually do, thanking everybody for your support, for your constant messages, your words of hope, and trying to stay together in our milongas that happen through Zoom every Sunday night. Let me remind you that also we have a podcast that it was inaugurated a few weeks ago, and it's a new episode comes every Saturday at 6 p.m. Something that it's interesting to know, because in this podcast what I'm doing, I'm trying to talk about what's behind the music, what is interesting about the lyrics, what is interesting about the musicians, and all the men and women that made what we know tango possible right now in today's life. So talking about that, I have decided today to do a little bit of musicality that we have not done in these probably almost 30 episodes of these YouTube lessons that we're doing online. So I'm going to use the music of Carlos Di Sarli. Carlos Di Sarli was one of the greatest musicians in the history of the golden age of tango, meaning the golden age, this period of time around the end of the 1930s and going until the end of the 1940s, where all this music was geared, was designed for the dancers. And I chose Carlos Di Sarli because not only he's elegant, but he has this ability to make everything very simple. Very simple when we're following the beat, which is the main thing. Tango is made by two sets of 4 beats, but also it is extremely musical. And what do I mean by that? Extreme musical, not as a musician would understand, but extreme musical for the dancer. As I told you earlier, Carlos Di Sarli was a very, very elegant, and he created this interesting style of his music, following what the dancers wanted back then, not so much following a very strict canon of tango music. His music tries to be fun. His music tries to be, like I said before, elegant, and at the same time exciting. Even if you are a very good dancer, you're going to agree with me that sometimes if you're a leader and you're dancing the melody only, it's very, very interesting to play with it. So the first thing, of course, I'm going to be talking about the differences in between the leaders and the followers, kind of understanding the music, but I would like you to pay attention to, in this, probably today, I'm not going to just divide in leaders, followers, and then footwork. I'm going to talk about everything at the same time. The first thing that we have to understand in tango and how to move our body to tango is the beat, okay? So it's a very simple exercise that if you have ever come to my lessons at Glen Echo Park, you're probably familiar. The first exercise we ever do before we're dancing tango, we clap with our hands, so to understand the music, right? So the first and basic exercise is to follow the beat. So if I follow the beat, I'm going to raise the volume so you can listen. So the first thing for me is to find the beat. That is very simple when I find the beat. This is particularly important for us, leaders, gentlemen, because we are in control of walking. We are in control of the lead. If we see, if the music is going bam, bam, and I step off that beat, the whole work of Carlos Di Sarli trying to get you into that beat is completely gone. You fail to Carlos Di Sarli because his music is so very organized, so very easy for you to understand that, you know, all you have to do is make sure that in those first, you know, when after we get to a very comfortable embrace, I always encourage everybody to do a little bit of the beat. 1, 2, and then go to the step. So if you don't understand where the beat is going, you're not going to be able to ever get into the beat. So, or the rhythm of the music. So after you practice with this, try to now go with your feet. Like a march, bam, 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 bam. But now we're going to stop clapping and I'm going to focus on my feet. If you look at my feet right now, because I was in the position before, and I was not really focusing in my posture. But now, if I look at myself, I'm going to find out that my feet are a little bit far apart, which is not very elegant when we are dancing, okay? Always picture you as a line. And eventually you're going to have another line that is going to be dancing around the line, the first line. The first line is your axis. The second line is the line of dance. And that dancing line is one of your legs, actually. We're going to discover that later. But for now, I want you to collect your feet. Regardless of your role, I want you to find the joints of your hips, meaning the joint that connects your iliac bone with your leg bone. So instead of just walking like this without using any of my joints, I want you to say, if I just try to lower, imagine that you're waiting for somebody. See, my hip is lower on this side, high on this side, because I am just not placing any weight on my right foot. Now, see what is going to happen. I'm going to switch my weight, and I'm going to let sit all my weight on my right leg only. And I'm going to forget that I have a left leg. So in that way, I want you to discover or rediscover your joint. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to move your hips. I just want you to feel how the joint is being used. If you do so, you can control your upper body not to move from one specific spot. If you don't move your hip, see what happens? All my body is switching a little bit, is tilting from one side to the other. If I use the joints of my hips, I am able to do that. Now, remember, in the past, in order to take care of the posture of people, they recommended you to put a book on top of your head and walk with that book. I don't want you to do that because it's a little bit aggressive. I just want you to walk as you walk on the street, trying to go with that beat. So imagine boom, boom, and I'm going to take the longest line here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to turn around. See, in order to turn around, I'm going it's very interesting to see that when you're walking in a normal way. I don't want you to think, and this is both for followers and leaders, I don't want you to feel like you are doing ballet or that you're doing a complicated way of walking. By the contrary, I want you to feel completely relaxed. And this is a suggestion for the ladies because, most of the ladies say, oh, but I'm wearing high heels, so I have to walk in a different way. You wear high heels on the street. So if you walk normally, you're going to hit the ground first. The first part of your foot hitting the ground is going to be your heel. So I want you to make sure that when you're walking, you're going comfortably with your heel. Now, it doesn't mean that see, because if you overthink it, you're going to be thinking of your balance and what is happening. I just want you to make sure that your chest and your feet are connected and you're going with that movement. So the first part is just walking, right? But that set of walking 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 8 steps of tango or the 8 beats of tango. It's a little bit boring. At some point, we have to do a syncopation. In this case, just for the musicality of tango, we're going to translate that syncopation in a 5-beat set. That is going to go quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Okay, so the first thing, I want to practice that counting with my clapping my hands with the music. So if you're not familiar, you can count, you can use the words. I'm going to use the words. Probably that doesn't make any sense, but see, I'm going to try to sing it with the music. Chan, 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 chan. I can go forever doing that chant in the whole length of the song. I can go using just that set of 5 beats. Okay? Of course, we're going to use the syncopation not every time, not permanently. I'm going to use the syncopation as something else, something that is going to enhance my overall dancing or part of it. Okay, so if I want to walk and practice that syncopation, the first thing that I want you to do is to go. See, when I walk, I just count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? But if I want to do syncopation, I want you to try to do both. You can do one set of 2 because of my space is really teeny tiny. I'm going to do just one set of 2 and then a set of 5. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in other words, what I am doing is slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Once again, because I don't have a lot of space, I was just like doing on the side. If I from my setting, I just do the 5, see? Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Now, in that part of the quick, quick, because that is something that the music is being said that, the music is kind of telling me, Renee, don't stay on the ground that much. So I highly recommend you, when you're doing the quick, quick, in between, try to, being your role leader of a follower, try not, say, after you've done slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, in those quick, quick, even if you're walking, even if you're making a pause there, I want you to try to keep your heels off the ground. That is going to help you a little bit feel this interesting way that the music is inviting. So, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow. It doesn't mean that you have to be up here. So look at my heels, they're like really up high. I just want you to disconnect. You step, bum, bum, like you're almost in the air. That being in the air also is helping your axis. Remember, I told you to look like a line, right? When you elongate that line, you look a lot more elegant. And the leg that is walking turns into the line of dance. So at some point when you're walking, you have to feel those lines. If I walk without thinking about these lines, I'm going to follow the beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Or slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. I'm not really making any effort to look nice. I'm going to try to do it in front of the camera. The best way to do this is, once again, making sure that you're elongating your body towards the ceiling. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay? You can tell the moment I'm counting the fast part of the movement, I'm going upwards. Okay? But what is happening when you're a follower? You're not walking backwards. And I want you to go back when we were explaining how to take backward ochos or backward steps. When you walk backwards, let me remind you a little bit of that lesson. We want to make a line from our core to the tip, the end tip of our shoe. Okay? So our core is the mid, it's a spot. If I slice my body in half, and then from the side in another half, the center is right a spot up here. Okay, so that line should be kind of like in the end of your ribs and going from there. That line starts in your core. So when you're walking, you don't want to just walk, or, make a step simply. I want you to remember to make a very straight and nice line. So when you're practicing this, I'm just going to do the first part of the lesson today, which is the strong beat. Make sure that you elongate. Okay? When you elongate correctly, you're going to be using the muscles on the lower part of your back, and you're going to use and make your buttocks very, very active. So that is the first muscles that are connecting. Your muscle here has to be very, very tight. On the other side, you have to feel also how it is working. Your hips are not tense, but they are engaged. Your knees are going, when you're walking, the knees are going like this. Bend, stretch, bend, stretch. If somebody would take a picture of you in the middle of your walk, see, my standing leg, in this case, my left, has the knee bent. But in the moment of going to the step, both legs are elongated. So I don't want you to think that because I'm asking you to stretch, to bend your knee for a little bit, that doesn't mean that you're walking like this. If I walk bending all the time, I feel like jumping up and down, which is not correct. So, if you manage to now, we can combine, for now, because we're learning the very basics of tango, we have not yet danced waltz, we have not yet danced milonga. And actually, I want to do this musicality lesson so we can explore these other rhythms. So, when we're dancing milonga and when we're dancing waltz, it's actually a lot easier to find the moment when we are going to add this syncopation in our steps. So for now, I want you to try to go forward and backwards. And the reason why I was talking about the waltz and the milonga is that both leader and follower, when we're dancing milonga, not so much with tango, but when we're dancing milonga and waltz, we walk on both directions. Even I can do that when I'm dancing tango, but it requires a little bit of skill. And I want you to have that skill. And I want you to feel comfortable, regardless of your role, going forward and going backwards. Look the way I'm going to take this other line now. And I'm going to go. Bum, 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 bum. That same exercise I can do not only walking forward or walking backwards. As you just saw me, I can do that same exercise trying to go to the side. Imagine them dancing. In this case, the count, you can still do, see? Slow, slow. Quick, quick, slow. Slow, slow, slow. Quick, quick, slow. To the other side. Slow, slow. Quick, quick, slow. Slow, slow, slow. Quick, quick, slow. so very important to move, to use, I'm not going to say move, I'm sorry, it's to use the joints of your hips. If you walk on the side with your joints locked, you're going to look like this. I'm going to relax a little bit because I'm so unused to be stiff. So, see? If I don't use this part of my body, see, I'm not moving my hips. I'm just letting my torso, the middle section of my body, navigate in between one leg towards the other. So I want you to have that feeling every time that you're walking, you're displacing your body somewhere, okay? Now, the exercises that I want you also to think about, because you have, whenever you move your body, I want you to think all the possibilities of the movement. You walk forward, you move backwards, you move sideways, sometimes you move in a diagonal line, and sometimes you move around, right? So when we move around, we're going to call, in this case, the exercise of the molinete, okay? And we're going to have a very interesting molinete here. I want you to imagine one spot in the middle of the room, and I'm going to have one corner, two corners, three corners, four corners. So I only can do 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. However, I have to fulfill 5 because that's what we're practicing with. So I'm going to start going towards my left, counting that. Don't count what is the corners that are on the floor. The corners are exactly the same corners as this room. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You don't have to think about that. What I want you to think is slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. 5. So I'm going to try to keep my body towards this invisible center that I have here. I'm going to face that center all the time. And I'm going to try to go. See, I start by just listening to the strong beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to rest here and I'm going to catch up with the music then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This exercise to me is extremely important, but at the same time, it's not easy, but it's not impossible. We are exercising the syncopation and making that syncopation understandable in our muscle memory. More than, I don't want you to think that you have to do this perfectly. I want you to know when that is going to happen. That's the reason after the set of 5, take a break, put both feet on the ground and start again. See? Now I'm going to try to go to the opposite direction, in this case to my right side, and I'm going to start with my left. So face the center. Imagine that you're holding that center. Imagine that that center is a tube in front of you. So I'm going to go slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. I pause. The next step is with my left. So I'm going to try to go with my left forward. In this case, the next step was a side step. So slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. The next part is a back ocho. So I'm going to take my time and then I'm going to go slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow. You complete going one side, try to do the other side. Eventually, you're going to feel this so very easy in not only in your legs. I feel it when I do it. Probably this is different with everybody, but I feel in my core, in my center, how I'm perfectly going with the music. So basically what I want is for you to go in a beat that is not just the beat of 1, 2, 3, 4, but make it playful with the music. Not only as a leader that it's your responsibility to be taking care of how this is going to happen, but also as a follower. Once again, this is a musicality lesson. It's not a musicality for dancers. So I don't want you to focus so much in the music. I don't want you to focus too much in the perfection of how it is coming. I want you to understand. Our brain needs to first comprehend how we're going to do this. Eventually, when it's a little bit more in our bodies, we're going to be able to perfect this. Now, the next exercise, see, we have done forward, we have done backwards, we have done forward and backwards. And then we did sideways, to one side, side to the other side. And then we tried to do a round in a kind of like a circular motion. Now, try to play with this. For example, I'm going to do this as a leader, and I'm going to do it a free form, okay? And I want you ladies, not because your role is following, I want you to practice this too, for the sake of the movement, for the sake of your body acquiring this understanding of the music. Once again, this song is called A la Gran Muñeca, or To the Beautiful Doll. And it's so beautiful, so slow, so rich in the terms of the elements that can be used by dancers. This song was designed for the dancers, okay? So I want you to try to do this exercise free form. I don't have a set. I'm going to just try to go and try to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to try to practice that a little bit more, but you understand what I mean when I want you to do a free form exercise. All you have to do is think, I have to go forward, I have to go back, eventually in a circle, and sometimes to the side. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to do kind of like a follower now. So, all of a sudden, we discovered that we can do a lot of other things rather than just do circularity, going forward, going backwards, or going to the side. We can do rebounds on the side. And see, that is that has a little, in order for you to understand, it's not a rule, but it has a different count. I cannot do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See? For that reason, in order to make this a little bit clear or more clear for you, the up beats, meaning that they are in the upper area, and the low beats, meaning that they are in the low area. What we're listening, boom, 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 boom. Actually, the ones in the lower part are called down beats. So what we're listening as, it's the downbeat. Dun, 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 dun. When we're doing the syncopation, we are dancing an upbeat. That upbeat, sometimes it's invisible to the ear. What do I mean by that? Bam, bam. Well, the song is coming to an end now, but pay attention, please. I want you to really understand this. Ba, 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 ba. In this case, the instrument is like cha, cha, cha. It's showing us where that downbeat is going. And we have to imagine perfectly in between that beat, our beat. It's not that difficult to do because we already have been doing it for the last half hour. But the reason why I'm asking you to do that is because, see what is the next exercise. Bam. All I want you to do is da, 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 da. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. But let me explain why I explained you this about the downbeat and the upbeat. If I count the downbeats, it's 1, 2. There is a distance. And if I count half of it, I cannot say 0.5, 1. So I want you to focus in just the upbeat, and we're going to do, instead, see, here I have 1. Here I have 1 and 2. Okay, 1, 2, let's go, put it that way, 1, 2, and here only 1. So we're going to be dancing only the upbeat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. Let me a little bit go over that part. When I have that counting of the upbeats, most of the time the upbeat is not really in the music. I have to imagine. But that's very easy because if I'm thinking, it's like, imagine that you have a metronome that is doing tick, tack, tick, tack. And instead of doing tick, tack, you're going to count the one when the needle is going in between the ends. Tick, tack, tick, tack, tick, tack, tick, tack, tick, tack, tick, tack. So first I have to understand how to divide that beat when I cannot hear it. And then I'm going to make my body part of it. I can just practice going forward, going to the side, going back, and going to the other side. I'm going to do this in a diagonal line so you could see. 1, 2, 1. 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I switch my feet now. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I can do continuously. 1, 2, 1. Forward and back. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. I can also do 3 times forward, side, and back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Switch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay? So when I do not the counting of 5 that we were practicing before, but when I do it constantly for a limited period of time, I have to count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Things that I want you to remember when you're practicing this, because the things that we learn correctly stay with us all the time correctly. But when we learn them incorrectly, it's very hard to change in the future. It's not impossible, but it really is kind of like a restart. For that same reason, I don't want you to waste your time trying to correct things. I want you to make sure that those lines that I was talking about at the very beginning of the lesson are extremely important. So try to, when you're practicing, I'm going to do it in very slow motion. Actually, let's use just the down beats, meaning the big beats, in order to do this in slow motion. When I'm practicing, I'm going to practice with my right leg, and I'm going to go forward, side, and back. So at this point, when, say, my center is dancing the music, pam, 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 pam. So I cannot allow myself to bend my knees, because then my the movement of my center is going to be doing something like this. See? 1. Actually, it's 1. I feel like I'm collapsing like this, like making an S with my core. Once again, I really would like you to, I'm recommending you not to bend your knees. See, in the moment of the step, you're bending your knees. But in the moment of the rebound, the going forward and come back, your legs should be completely elongated and your joints flexible, active. The same here on the side. Now I'm going to do it in front of you so you can appreciate on the side. Forward, side, and back. I switch, forward, side, back. When I'm doing in the side, once again, I arrive to the side and my knee of my standing leg is soft. It's not bent completely. I'm not trying to bend it by myself. It just happens. And then, bam, bam. I'm using the joints. My legs are elongated. If you're a follower, you're going to, your body is already up high a little bit, so you're going to feel that elongation a lot more clear in your body. And then before we go to any step, we have to go brush the center and then go back, meaning the center, the center of the spot where which we are using. So let's do it one more time now with the correct beat. Pa 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 pa. 1 2 1 1 one. We switch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. Because I know how to do this, it's very easy for me to elongate my leg. Make a longer step. I'm not asking you to do the same now because, it requires a little bit of practice to be able to do it that long. Even if your steps are very, very small, try to make them correctly. Elongate. That's the reason. That's the only thing I want you to remember. Bum, 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 bum. And at the end, try to finish kind of like in the air, with your heels in the air. So you feel something in, by feeling something, I mean the parts of your body that are really working. In this case, your calves, your abductors. Your adductors are also working, and your because we're working with our legs, as a consequence, the quadriceps are always working. But see, try to feel that. The more that you remember which muscles to use, the better established in your head the movement is going to stay. It's going to remain there. So, this part of the syncopation is actually the more exciting. In the followers part, there is a lot of this syncopation. See, look, just focus on my feet. If you just do bum, 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 I'm moving basically from, not so much from my feet, but from my core. Ba, 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 ba. I'm just giving you ladies a very interesting example on how to play with your part. Your role is, most of the time, you have heard me saying that the leader's part usually follows the beat. And that's true. Most of the time we have to be walking to the in the time of the beat. You have the opportunity to move and elongate the movement using the melody. The melody is in my head a little bit more feminine. The beat is more masculine. The beat is like going to war. Boom, boom. The melody is like allowing you to do more interesting things, more fluid things. So I want you to, in so many opportunities, we were talking about how to do the kicks backwards, how to do the kick forward. And you have always heard me say, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That count is also going like quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. When you kick, for example, I'm doing a kick, and then immediately after that, I am walking forward. But let's imagine that you don't. You're doing a sandwich. That's the excellent example. You arrive. 1, 2, 3. You're going to pass over the foot of the leader. So you arrive. Normally, you can collect, or you can just do it from here. 1, 2, 3. But that 1, 2, 3 is connected to what we were doing before. Quick, quick, slow. When you kick forward, the same way. 1, 2, 3. This is quick, quick, slow. When you're doing the boleo, your movement should, I know that we have not done boleo in this session, in this collection of lessons. At some point we're going to have it, but this information is for people that probably have a little bit more experience. When you're doing the bolero, it has to go 1, 2, boom, and then keep going forward, side, wherever you want to go. So that count is extremely important, not only when you are familiarized with the beats of the music, but in every movement. It feels like in regular dance that if you don't want to do any syncopations, or the leader doesn't like to do syncopations, but even when you're dancing, you have to understand when to do that. Now, this, for the ladies, a very nice way to practice these syncopations, these sometimes slow, to understand a little bit how the beat goes, when it's slow and when it goes a little bit faster. You can practice this doing forward ochos. And once again, this is more commonly used by the ladies, but I want you gentlemen to try to do this at home as well as an exercise, because it practices your not only how to understand the music, but it practices the musicality in your whole body, in your muscles. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to raise the volume a little bit. I'm going to do forward ochos, but something else is going to happen. I'm dancing with you. You're my dance partner. So I'm going towards you. See, I'm doing a syncopation there. Ba, ba, ba. And then I'm walking, right? I'm going to do this in slow motion. I walk. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba. Okay? So if you try to do that, you can use a chair and try to, every time, ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba. Now, when I'm doing that, ta, 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 I'm not hitting the ground. Don't forget, especially you ladies, you're dancing almost barefoot. You have to be very careful not to break your toenails. So try to go. See, the exercise is for your hamstring. I touch the ground, and then I have to lift my leg. But I'm lifting my leg, not my foot. If I lift my foot, it's going to look like this. I have to lift this portion of my leg first, bam, and then lift the upper portion first, and then. Okay? Now, look what is going to happen. That was one exercise. Another exercise to practice this. Once again, I'm dancing with you. I'm going to be doing forward ochos, but I'm going to pause every bam, 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 bam. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. I can reverse that and go back. Ba, bam, bam, ba, bam, bam, ba, bam, bam, bam. Every time that you're doing this, make sure that your knees are like elastic bands. They elongate and they bend. They elongate and they bend. What do I mean? See, both my knees are going down. They're soft. I bend them. When I am in the middle of the step, both legs are completely elongated, especially the one I'm leaving behind. I arrive, tan, tan. Okay? when you're pivoting, you're actually not pivoting. You're moving very quickly. Ba, 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 ba. To train yourself, make a long pause in the number 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Phew. I rest. And then when I want to do it again, 1, 2, 3, and I rest. Make sure that your legs are comfortable, that you are in your axis, nice, and ready to go. When you do back, exactly the same. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can combine back and forward. If you lock these sets in your mind, you really understand what we're doing. Imagine, immediately after that, you're going to start feeling how your own body is going to start discovering how to move a little bit more agile. At this point, my hope is, and what I really am focusing, is for you to disconnect from the step and try to, in a way, be more aware of what is happening with the music. For most of you, I know and I understand that. Although I was not a dancer when I was a kid, I started dancing when I was almost 30 years old. But it was I was very familiar with the tango music growing up. My dad would listen music, and most of the tangos probably that we dance today in every milonga, some way or the other, I knew them. For you, it's probably, for me, if I make a comparison, it's like me listening to music, folk Balkan music that I didn't grow up with and I love now. You know, if you go to the alternative music milongas, I always play Balkan music because to me it's fantastic and has a very wonderful rhythm. But still, I am discovering certain things. When I listen to that music, all of a sudden I'm like curious about, I don't recognize the sound of this instrument. And then I have to do my investigation, and like I have to watch a video and make sure that I am listening to all the instruments. But that's me. I'm trying to facilitate all the things for you. I don't want you, it's a great exercise to imagine all the instruments that are being played in the music. The most common, piano. That is always going to happen. Piano, bandoneon, violin, sometimes more than one, and in the case of bandoneon, also more than one. The counterbass, and then we have sometimes violas, sometimes we have flute, sometimes we have guitar, sometimes we have drums. Sometimes we have electronic music, especially in the modern tangos. But nevertheless, whatever you listen to, it all is going to make one sense, and the sense is this beat. If we cannot hear this 1, 2, 3, 4, or pam 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 pam, or pa pam pa pam pa pam pa, at least we cannot dance a song like that. That's the reason why, to me, it's very interesting when I change the music into something that you are more familiar with. Everybody tells me, oh my God, I cannot, now I can dance better because I'm not thinking of the movement, I'm thinking of the music. At some point, I want you to get to where you are not thinking of just the steps that you, or how you have to do them. I want you to enjoy doing that step, that elongation, that use of your hamstring and your butt doing the music. It's a, I mean, for some people, it's a very short process. They understand immediately. For other people, it requires a lot of practice. For that same reason, if you really want to get into the music of tango, you have to keep listening tangos. Try to. I don't work for Spotify, I always say this, but to me, Spotify is a great instrument. It's a great tool. So if you have Spotify or any other platform where you can listen music, make a playlist. Look for tangos that are from that were made by Carlos Di Sarli. Compare them with others. Let's say Pugliese, Osvaldo Pugliese, which is also great, but it's a little bit different than Carlos Di Sarli. You can look for D'Arienzo, Juan D'Arienzo. You can look for, I'm trying to make very different, like opposition. You can go Ricardo Tanturi, and you can look for Miguel Caló. You're going to find that although we are talking about the same beat, pa, 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 every orchestra has its own particularity. Every orchestra is a little bit more exciting. These orchestras that were so very popular in the golden age of tango, they were that popular because all of them made people dance a lot. They were the favorite in all the big gatherings. Like it was the big tango events of the year were the Carnival, the New Year, the patriotic dates in Argentina. And when that happened, all these bands gathered in the best places to play this music, and everybody was, you know, probably at the same time. Miguel Caló was because it was the same carnival, you know, and the Club X had to do a party, and the Club Y had a party too. So here was Caló, and here was Carlos Di Sarli, because they are contemporary. And you know, some people, if you're a dancer, you have to decide, do I want to go today to Caló or to Di Sarli? So today we can have everybody in one same milonga, in one evening. So that's the reason why we have to adapt to that change in the emotion of the music, in that pace that the musician has created the music. And not only that we have to do as a, don't take it like you have to do that, but it's exciting to do it. It's like, I don't know, if you're preparing your body to taste chocolate, but at the same time, imagine that you're going to try, you're going to go here to Dolcezza and you're going to try the ice cream made of chocolate that you're used to, and all of a sudden they invite you to try the sesame seeds ice cream, or the one made with dulce de leche, or the one made with cilantro. Things that probably are not very usual for us, but still we have to taste them and we have to appreciate them. And we're not going to like every band. Some are more difficult than others, but we're going to, at some point, define our taste. And we're going to, by exploring all these interesting different rhythms, we're going to find what best suits us. And actually, that is basically what musicality is about. To guide you, what is your favorite band and why it is so. So it's, although sounds like I'm teaching you how to do certain things, it's basically an invitation for you to find your best tango musicians. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a reminder of how to move our feet. It's going to be a little bit shorter this time, but once again, today I want you to have this idea that you can practice this even if you're walking down the street, you're shopping, you are in your house cooking, or you are ready to go to bed. It's a very simple set of steps that I really want to incorporate in your body. Okay, let's go and see what exercises we can do with our feet only. So very quickly, I want to go over the exercises that you can do in order to achieve a little bit of, I'm not going to say a perfect balance, but these exercises slowly are going to get you better holding your balance. And also, posture is very important to keep your balance. So the first thing that we have to think when we're going to start this is how we're going to start. If I'm going to go, for example, the first exercise that we did is walking. Whenever you walk, try to walk in front of your other foot, arrive with the heel, and then as you transfer your weight forward, you are elongating the other leg. And when you elongate, I mean it. Try to arrive completely on the other side with both legs completely elongated, making a line from your core to your toe. Okay, so if you're going to do the syncopation, make sure that that is still happening. Now in the syncopation, we're stopping, we're making I explained to you, we're going slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. When we're doing that quick, we have to hurry a little bit. We don't have the time of doing the full elongation. So when that happens, your movement is going to be, like I said earlier, with your heels off the ground. So if you practice this, see? Bum, bum. Right now, I'm practicing my ankles. Now, if I want to use and practice my hips, I can do that too. The joints of my hips. I'm not moving my hips per se. I'm just moving the joints of my hips. Okay? That is going to be a little bit more evident. I'm going to take a diagonal line when we do the exercise in 3 spots. When we do the constant movement of syncopation. That means that instead of going 1, 2, 3, I'm going pam, pam, pam. Try to, in every movement, make sure that you're arriving directly with your metatarsal and you're pushing the ground back to come back to your center, and then take the new direction. And make sure that your hips are completely loose. The joints of your hips are completely loose, and you're just flowing with the movement. You're not really thinking about your hips. The movement is going to take you wherever it needs to take you. If I do it with the other leg, I'm doing the other diagonal, so you can have a look. So what we're discovering is that whenever you're doing something, your ankles should be moving all the time. Again, if you need to exercise more, if you don't understand this part, go back to lesson number 5 or lesson number 4 you're going to find a lot of information on how you move your feet, and that is exactly the exercises you need for now. Okay? Well, this will complete our lesson today. This was a lesson basically to get us introduced to the musicality in tango. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. And if you didn't learn anything new, try to practice this, because practice makes the master. So if you master this, when we come back on the dance floor, you're going to be able to feel it a little bit easier. Thank you so very much again, and I hope I see you later on in our virtual milonga. I will be eager to see you there. And thank you so very much again for your kind support, and we will be talking soon. Okay? Thank you very much.